right, so we've got quite the weather week ahead to talk about. I am doing a new platform service after last week's software meltdown. It prevented me from broadcasting live, so thanks for being patient. I'm Camden Walker for Capital Weather Gang. I am just making sure everything is connecting properly, so forgive me while I go and check on the stream, but we will be starting this shortly. I am very excited to talk about this with you on our weekly Q&A. Unfortunately, after missing last week. All right, here we go in 1 second. Hello. I am Camden Walker for Capital Weather Gang. I think we are connected. I am pleased to talk to you for our Sunday Sunset Q&As. We've got a spring-like week ahead. And it is going to be another gorgeous one tomorrow. After today, we set quite a standard with Sunday being so sunny with few, if any, clouds could be found in the area. It was just pretty splendid, and we're going to have more of the same tomorrow with very similar temperatures, maybe even a couple degrees warmer, well into the mid-60s. So if you enjoyed today, this Sunday, you're going to enjoy tomorrow. Temperatures are going to go down pretty quickly tonight, so I hope you enjoyed what we had today while we had it, because we still have dry air over the region, and cloud-free conditions along with calm winds allow for perfect what is known as radiational cooling, so heat easily escapes from the surface. So expect a chilly night tonight, but another warm one tomorrow. So it's a little bit of a roller coaster this time of year in March, but we're used to it as spring kind of gets its footing. Whispers of spring have definitely begun, if not more so. As we look ahead this week, you can see even 70s are possible by week's end. And yep, we're dealing with that pollen as well. Low on the trees helped me a little bit more compared to previous days last week when we were even warmer. So I hope allergy sufferers, you are enjoying some of that break. So we've got a bunch of stuff for you from CapitalWeatherGang.com. Our latest PM update at CWG.news/latest, there at the top. Cicada discussion at CWG.news/cicadas. And then, of course, our cherry blossom forecast still seems on track for around April 1, CWG.news/CherryBlossoms, and a discussion of all the intricacies of the equinox on what it means. Go to CWG.news/equinox. Of course, now at least the main takeaway is we have over 12 hours of daylight here in the DC area, here in the Northern Hemisphere, so that is fantastic. Hi, Greg. Severe weather, unlikely, but we'll watch some thunderstorm threats later Thursday night into Friday. Shannon is wishing for spring. Good to see you, Shannon. And Lori, hello. I'm glad you enjoyed this beautiful day. Annette, hello. Donovan, spring-like weather. Yes, indeed. We've got plenty of it for you, Donovan. Let's look at the forecast at a glance. 60s and maybe even 70s. I can't even rule out 80 on Friday. So keep that in mind, Donovan. We are looking at some really good spring-like weather if you are into above average mildness, because keep in mind our average high temperature is still 58 degrees right now today. Aaron, you'll put the heater back on tonight. Yes, indeed. It does look like we will effectively cool into the 20s and 30s. 20s are well west of town along the IA1 corridor, but even downtown should dip below 40 degrees, it looks like. All right, Joe, no fireball information, but I did see that coverage, Joe. It looks like last night over the Northeast, several spotters saw that meteor fireball. But go to the American Meteor Society for more information on that. Hey, Rick, any chance of winter weather before the end of March? Looking unlikely. Can't completely rule it out, but looking unlikely. Amy, thanks so much for tuning in. And sorry I missed last week. You all had a software meltdown, and I'm doing a whole new platform today. So thanks for your patience. I'm on like plan C right now, but I enjoy these Sunday Sunset Q&As with you. Thanks for tuning in after my unfortunate skipping last week after hours of putting things together. It failed at the last second. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. Thanks for tuning in. Patricia is loving the 12 hours of daylight, and that is the main takeaway from our CWG.news/equinox. Go to that link, CWG.news/equinox, for the latest on all the intricacies of what makes the equinox. And some of you have even gotten down to the Lincoln Memorial, which was awesome, because that's one of the times this time of year where you have all the light shining in on Lincoln's face in the Lincoln Memorial. And here we are, finally over 12 hours of daylight. Patricia, I'm glad you're going to enjoy it. Amy took a long spring walk today. Excellent, with the dogs. Drew, unlikely for severe weather on Friday, but it's worth watching. There is a thunderstorm potential. We could just see some everyday thunderstorms Thursday night into Friday, but we'll watch as we get closer because warm, unstable air does look like it's going to move in later this week, and that might mean even possibly 80 degrees for high temperature on Friday. Donovan is happy with the weather, and Kenny, it snowed 3 years ago today. Yes, indeed. Capital Weather Gang's Kevin Ambrose actually went down to the tidal basin, and we retweeted that at Capital Weather on Twitter. His photograph of the tidal basin 3 years ago, when we got 4 inches on this day 3 years ago, and today the cherry blossoms are looking like they're between phase 2 and phase 3. They're still progressing, but we're not there yet. Hello from Rhode Island, Sandy, 60s today. You enjoyed it. Rick, thanks again for tuning in. And Amy, indeed, 12 hours of daylight is pretty cool now, and that's going to grow until we get toward our summer solstice on June 21st, I believe, this year. Now, let's look ahead to next work week. We've got temperatures that might be near average, and you're going to ask me what, Camden, is near average by next work week, next Sunday when you start talking to me here on these Sunday Sunset Q&A weeklies. It's going to be an average high temperature of 60 degrees, an average low of 41, so that gives you kind of a ballpark. If we're thinking near normal for next work week, it's still mild. It's this time of year, average high temperatures are pretty mild. Gardeners and farmers not happy to see this. More below average rainfall is possible next work week as well, and it's still okay. We're not in a drought. We have some forecast rain by the end of this week. We hopefully can get a quarter inch around the I-95 corridor. We've got to wait and see how these showers come together, so we'll keep you posted. But the good news is, again, the East Coast is doing pretty good in the water department. We don't really have much of any drought spots to speak of, and the forecast looking ahead for the drought outlook for the season is also good news. So yes, topsoil is pretty dry right now. We don't have much in the way of evapotranspiration, but if farmers and gardeners who are looking to get their plants and their crops going, we're going to all be required to do a little bit of watering. But at least for the foreseeable future, we don't have drought deeper into the water table and below the layer of topsoil. So that is partially good news that we have that ahead of us. All right, here is this gorgeous satellite shot from today. It was such a gorgeous day. Tyler is talking about the UV index is really increasing this time of year. Yes, please wear sunscreen. Between the equinoxes in March and September, it is very strong sun in the midday hour. And please keep in mind, solar noon, that's when the sun is highest in the sky, does not match our clock this time of year. It's around 1:15 Eastern is solar noon, when the sun is the highest at its midday point. So if you are out between 10 and 3, you're going to really want some sunscreen this time of year. And until I tell you otherwise, around Columbus Day, honestly, and to Indigenous Peoples Day there after the equinox. Still chilly in Virginia Beach, says Arlene. Yes, indeed. Victoria doesn't want any more rain, so at least this dry weather that we see coming up for the next couple of days at least is good for you, Victoria. And Dawn, let's cover the last frosts and freezes for the area. Generally speaking, you're going to want to wait until April 1 for around our area, around the I-95 corridor. And honestly, last year along the I-81 corridor, there was a frost and freeze near Woodstock, Shenandoah County, Luray on Mother's Day last year. So please keep that in mind. Please gradually put your plants outside. If we do have these cold nights, we'll of course give you heads up, but you want to be able to bring those plants inside and be able to give them shelter or cover them somehow reliably if you did permanently plant them out in your garden. Just don't put in the most sensitive items just yet. By this map, the dark green is April 2nd, might be the middle date of our last freeze for the spring. And then of course it gets later and later, April 15th for Central Virginia, Central Maryland. And then you can see there in the I-81 corridor, we're closer to the end of April, and that's just the median. That's not the record latest frost or freeze, so keep that in mind as well. This just gives you a general idea of gardeners and farmers, what you can plant at this time of year. Not the most sensitive things just yet. Try and wait until April. That's the key takeaway. All right, Alex, cicadas, let's talk about those. They are coming out the latter half of May. And we've got that covered for you on the blog on capitalweathergang.com at CWG.news/cicadas. And we're in a unique position. We've got to get the soil, I believe, up to 62 degrees or so, mid-60s, for the hatching of this latest brood to come in middle of May. Let's see if I can get down to the graphic. We are one of the few places in the world and even the country to have this brood hatch this year. A lot of these in the dark orange here, this is one of the mid-Atlantic areas, is a very special area for these cicadas. So you'll hear them as we get into the latter half of May into early June. If I remember from when they last hatched many years ago, over a decade ago, they sounded like aliens a little bit. So please keep that in mind. Don't be alarmed as you see a bunch of cicadas that look different, sound different, this coming late May into early June. So keep that in mind. All right, let's see what else have I missed on the questions and comments up. Here's your forecast at a glance. I'm Cameron Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. We've got a bunch of coverage for you there on the blog. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Capital Weather as well, and subscribe to us on YouTube at CWG.news/YouTube. Elizabeth, yep, we are dealing with a little short-term rain, dry spell, let's call it. We are running almost a half inch below average where we should be from this point looking back to January 1. So we're running a little below average for the year right now. But the good news is the plants aren't active just yet. There's no major evapotranspiration pulling on the water table, which still remains okay. But the topsoil is indeed dry. So that's why we have to do all this watering when we do plant something this time of year, which, hey, these plants can take advantage of the higher UV, higher infrared, the higher sun angle overall. These plants are responding. You probably noticed the grass is greener even with not so much rain recently. It's just responding to the March sunshine. Yes, Dawn, please wear that sunscreen. The highest point for the sun this time of year is actually solar noon is 1:15 p.m. Eastern. It's not actually lining up with noon Eastern time on our clock. So please keep that in mind. You want to kind of keep sunscreen on you between 10 and 3 right now, since the highest point for the sun is around 1:15 p.m. Eastern. Chris, hello. You're loving the spring weather. Cold spell in the coming weeks does not look likely. But we don't want to rule out some oscillations. We've had even some wintry precipitation not accumulate but be visible and give us some pellets of snow into April. So please keep that in mind, and I'm advising gardeners here on this Sunday Sunset Q&A, don't yet plant your most sensitive vegetables and plants and flowers outside just yet. So that is what I'm trying to give you the takeaway. So no major cold spell, Chris, but we're keeping an eye on things as we get into further and further into spring. But, you know, it can be a rocky start, and we can have some cold nights, that's for sure. Hey, Liz, more pleasant nights where you can sleep with your windows open. I mean, they're coming up later this week, but consistently we're probably going to have to wait for later April as well. And do keep in mind, speaking of windows open, that we do have some pollen around, luckily lower than last week, but it is still around. I'm still making sure I take my daily items. So I hope allergy sufferers, fellow allergy sufferers, you are watching your tree pollen levels as well. Those are the major species right now that definitely interact with me. So keep that in mind. You might have a tree species that interacts with you. Even if pollen is low, if it hits the right species for interacting with your allergies, you are sometimes just out of luck. That is what is too bad sometimes. But as temperatures increase this week, pollen levels could go up. Hopefully, though, we can wash out some pollen by Thursday into Friday as temperatures kind of help pollen production at the same time. So I'm hoping we don't see too big of a spike, even if slight possibility that on Friday we see the 80-degree mark. So we'll see. Tina, enjoy the great weather today. Yes, indeed. Look at that satellite picture from today. We had few, if any, clouds. It was quite amazing. And more of the same tomorrow with sunny skies and temperatures maybe a couple degrees warmer than today. Monica last experienced cicadas in Cincinnati in 2004. Indeed, you'll see how they are in the DC area. I think they might even be a little more intense. According to this map, we do share some of those same broods of cicadas as in Ohio, but we have a good concentration here. We'll see. I would love to hear back from you, Monica, on what you think about the latter half of May when this brood of cicadas starts hatching. So let me put up our latest from CapitalWeatherGang.com, CWG.news/latest, CWG.news/cicadas, CWG.news/CherryBlossoms, and CWG.news/Equinox. You can find out all the details by also touching on my face and popping up below on your mobile device. You'll see all the links are above on your desktop or laptop. The links will appear with this video. Lee enjoyed the gorgeous day today. I did as well. And Liz, the Facebook memories are showing you 3 years ago, we got some snow, 4 inches of snow 3 years ago today. And interestingly enough, I think the cherry blossoms are still on the same track. They still are between phase 2 and 3 as they were 3 years ago, even with snow on the ground. Monica, thanks for tuning in. And Shannon, you would like some spring weather for teachers? For spring break, oh, that's a good point. All right, Shannon, I'll do my best, but I hope that in the near term you can enjoy some of these 70s coming in by the latter part of this week. So please enjoy. I know teachers, you've been working very hard, and everyone is dealing with the new reality that we're working on getting back to normal, right? Mary Ellen, you planted today, so I hope it was a good risk. I hope you are, Mary Ellen, kind of south and east of town, because here's the average median date of the last spring freeze, not the latest that we've ever recorded, so keep that in mind, but on average, it's looking like April 2nd around DC, the Potomac, kind of the I-95 corridor, but even spots of the I-95 corridor, you want to be a little conservative until maybe April 15th. And even last year along the I-81 corridor, there was a late freeze near Mother's Day. So please keep that in mind depending on where you are around town, around the Mid-Atlantic. The further south and east you are, you can start planting some things outside, but because a lot of our area still sees some frost and freezes in April, I would just be a little conservative. Make sure you can at least bring inside some of those potted plants. If leave them out during the day, maybe we can leave them out after tonight. I think we'll have more reliable low temperatures in the 40s going forward this week, or at least upper 30s and forward going into this week. So that's a good thing for at least the short-term plantings, but you don't want to permanently put something in just quite yet that's sensitive to overnight temperatures below in the 30s. So we'll just keep that in mind, gardeners. I'm very cautious. I don't want anyone to lose their plants just yet. Howard, I think the cicadas don't affect flowers too much, but go to CWG.news/cicadas to check all the details there. Because I think they generally feast on wood and bark, if I recall, but I'm not a cicada expert, but we do have all the coverage on that on the blog at CWG.news/cicadas right here. There you go on the second link, or touch on my face and popping up below. You'll see the links on your mobile device or above if you're on your desktop or laptop with this video. Hey Martina, thanks for tuning in, and Mary Ellen, thank you for tuning in. You're most welcome. Lori, thanks for tuning in. You're most welcome as well. And let's see if I've missed anything else. Please repeat your questions. But here's what we have for you latest on capitalweathergang.com before I sign off in 3 minutes. And Alan indeed is commenting how we're back to rain already, but at least the rain, kind of the shower potential is there for Wednesday, but it might hold off till Thursday and Friday. When it might be a little windy on Friday as well. But at least, Alan, if you don't want the rain, I can give you kind of a negating factor by offering you some warmer temperatures as the week progresses. So that's hopefully some good news to offset the rain that you don't seem to want. But we could use the rain in the region, and it's not going to be too much. When you look at the next week's worth of rain, we're hoping for a 1/4 inch of rain around here. We are in a little bit of a dry spell. We're running almost a 1/2 inch below normal for the year, but the drought is not here yet. We're not even looking at drought when you look at the seasonal outlook. The topsoil is dry, but the water table so far is okay. And remember, evapotranspiration is limited since the plants, the flora, have not completely woken up just yet. Hey, happy spring, Nui. Good to see you. Jacqueline, but planning outside yet is, we're being cautious. That's kind of the tone, at least until April. Here it is, the average median date of last spring freezes for you. And you can see the earliest spots near water and east of I-95 are about April 2nd on average. So my message to gardeners and to farmers, plant your permanent things in the ground. The most sensitive items, wait until April. But, plant things outside that you can leave outside during these days, and maybe take them in tonight. It looks like we have some widespread 30s tonight, but it's a warmer time going forward this week, and so you can probably leave your potted plants outside. We'll give you plenty of warning as we go forward in the next few weeks. If we do have some frost and freezes move in, just be able to bring those inside. That's the thing. Anything permanent outside that's sensitive to cold nights, that's what I worry about until April. So Helen, to answer your question as well, I don't think we're completely done with sub-freezing temperatures for overnight low temperatures until April. Nui, thanks for watching. And Charlene, you've got quite a garden planned. Wow, that's excellent. And yep, I like this, Charlene. You're not planting a lot of them outside until Mother's Day. Indeed, I-81 corridor last year had a Mother's Day frost and freeze, so it is definitely part of our story as we get into mid-spring. We have a lot of bumpy rides for the overnight low temperatures, so keep that in mind. What time, Aaron asks, will the Thursday rain come? It looks like it could be off and on rain on Thursday. Might start. The timing is uncertain. I wish I could pin it down for you. If you can't tell, I really wish I could. But don't think it's going to be a washout at all on Thursday. This so far doesn't look like a heavy all-day rain Thursday or Friday. There's a thunderstorm chance Thursday night into Friday, but right now the overall rain totals, when you look at the week on total, it's maybe a quarter of an inch or so. So when you divide these rain chances up among 3 days, kind of a little bit Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, maybe again on Sunday, which is included in this map, this doesn't add up to a lot of rain. So don't expect any major soakings. If you have outdoor plans, you should be able to dodge the raindrops more often than not. I'm Camden Walker for Capital Weather Gang, about to sign off. Thank you all for tuning in for the Sunday Sunset Q&A. I hope to not have any more software hiccups and meltdowns like I did last week. Sorry to have missed you last week. And yes, Misha, I hope we do have enough rain for myself included at the end of this week, wanting to knock out that pollen. I think Thursday and Friday should be okay when you consider warm temperatures helping that pollen production, and the rain should be enough to keep the pollen under control a little bit. Aaron, thanks for tuning in. Monica, thanks for tuning in. Don't bring the sensitive plants outside permanently just yet. Still one cold night overnight tonight, so please keep that in mind. But after tonight, I think you can leave those potted plants outside. It's not until we get into April that I have higher confidence based on these median dates of last potential freeze. They're mainly April for our region, so please be conservative at permanently planting those sensitive items outside until April. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, everyone, and cheers. Have a good start, safe start to your work week, and take care. Bye for now.